Hi and welcome. Today we're gonna do another cleaning video, and this is going to be with the Smith Wesson Bodyguard 2.0. So we're gonna go over a quick video on how to take the gun apart and how to clean this gun. So this is a new offering from Smith Wesson. It's about, at the time of this video, 4 months old, and we are going to go over maintenance of that firearm, disassembly. So first thing first, we want to make sure that we clear of ammo, so there's no live rounds of ammunition on that cleaning station. The cleaning station is protected, and the gun is not loaded, so we have no magazines. And we're gonna check the chamber, and we have an empty chamber, right? Yep, nothing in there. So to take the gun apart, first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna lock the action back by pushing the little slide catch here. So I'm gonna lock the action back just like so. And now I'm gonna remove the safety. So in this case, this gun is equipped with the ambi safety. Some models don't have it, but this case we have it. So I'm gonna take the safety off, switch the disassembly tab to the disassembly position, pull on the slide and make sure to hold on to it. Obviously pull and slowly ease that slide forward, point the gun in a safe direction, and the easiest way then to do it is really hold on to the action and pull the trigger, right? And you can guide the slide separate. So we have the frame. It's not too dirty, it's been shot. Now this gun has over 1,000 rounds through it. Very reliable, very nice little 380 from Smith Wesson. Falls under the pocket pistol category. So here we have the slide assembly, dual recoil spring system. So I'm going to take the recoil springs and grab the rear portion of it and lift it straight up, and we just come out super easy. And pushing the chamber side from the ejection port to lift the barrel up makes it easier, and removing the barrel. Few shots fired through that barrel. I don't know if you guys can tell. Let me see if I get some view. Yeah, pretty dirty. Right, the feeding ramp is carbonized a little bit. Nothing really bad. And now we have the slide assembly, obviously, and this is your striker, and this is the striker channel that you have right here. So we're gonna we have the gun apart. So not counting the magazine, we're gonna have 4 main parts: barrel, recoil spring system, and the slide, obviously, and the frame of the pistol. Right, so I'm gonna set this aside. Next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use an acid brush. This is something that you can find online, and it's rather cheap, and I highly recommend you guys using something like this if you are dealing with a striker fire pistol. So I'm going to explain to you why is that in just a little bit, but it's going to make good sense to you. So this is not a small paintbrush. Do not use a small paintbrush. I go over that with my students. Obviously you'll be using chemical products, and those products will separate the bristle and make a big mess. So this is an acid brush. It's specifically designed to deal with chemical products. So product gonna be using is a CLP, so clean lubricant and protective agent. I'm gonna use this product at this stage as a cleaner, so I'm gonna apply some of the product onto the little acid brush, and I'm gonna start. So I have my own routine. I like to start with the barrel, so I'm gonna start applying the product generously onto the barrel itself, chamber, face, and well, we see already results on that feeding ramp, right? So I'm gonna paint that out. And next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take the spray and give it a little bit of a spray inside the barrel, just like that. Putting this aside. The product has a very thin viscosity, so has a tendency to run through rather easily. So until I keep the barrel a little bit on the side. I put the barrel aside, and now I'm gonna grab back my acid brush, and I'm going to apply the product onto, well, all metal parts, the slide itself. And the product I'm using is safe on It is safe on painting, painted sides or night sides like we have on the Bodyguard 2.0. So it's a nice addition from Smith Wesson to include the night sight, front sight is night sight factory. Right, and I'm going to apply the product. Now the reason why I'm using the acid brush, and this is the important part, this is your striker, and your striker essentially when the action is closed will be cocked back, as you can see right here. When you pull the trigger, will release, the striker move forward and protrude through that little hole right here and strike the primer, firing obviously the cartridge. So what you want to avoid is putting any oil or any product into that channel. Otherwise, your striker will be slowed down with the viscosity of the product, and you will end up having a light primer strike. And this is going to go for generally all striker fire pistol. So this is why I'm using the acid brush, and I'm definitely not spraying directly onto the parts. So this allows me to control the application of the product, and I can virtually just paint over it, right? Taking care of the rails on both sides. I'm gonna have railing right here. I wanna make sure that I apply the product on it. You will have a lot of friction, and let's see if we can see this better angle. And obviously we're gonna have that breach face right there, so better lighting here. All right, so when I'm definitely dirty, I wanna definitely clean that up. So I apply the product. And at this stage, I'm just applying the product. I want the product I'm using to do most of the job. So like I tell my student, try to go, it's sort of a lazy mentality. Apply the product into the part, let the product do the job, and then work with it. So this is your dual recoil spring system. It's captive, obviously. And I'm just gonna make sure that I don't have any dirt deposit, that the spring is intact, that there's nothing nothing funny with the spring. Just take a look at it. That's as much maintenance as I'm going to worry with that. Okay, so I'm gonna apply a little bit more product onto the acid brush, which also allowed me to control how much product I put on it. And I'm gonna actually paint and apply the product right over the metal surface, whatever I'm touching also that may be affected. You have your sear right there, and the rails, and this is the trigger bar that you have right here. I don't know if you guys can see it, that little bar right there. Yep, so it's going to be your trigger bar. So make sure to apply a generous amount of product on it, not too much, right? And set it aside. Excellent. So the product has been applied. Now I'm going to use a nylon bristle, a gun cleaning brush. They do sell those with steel bristle and copper. I would not recommend. If you have an old toothbrush, that would work just as fine, right? So that's the nylon bristle that you will have on it. And this is going to serve me to separate whatever carbon and residues and anything who's not been separated by the product. So I'm helping that out without scratching anything. So I'm gonna start with the outside of the barrel, and I'm always in that order: barrel, slide, frame. That's my little routine. And you can generally brush all the parts, all right? Making sure that you obviously get the ramp, the angles here, the face of the chamber, right? Just giving it a brush. Good. And now we're gonna also address the inside of the barrel. For that, I'm gonna use my little copper brush right there, going chamber side, and I'm going to run the brush a couple of times back and forth. You don't need to do too much. Well, they do sell this brush with nylon bristle on it. I'm not a fan of it. Copper bristle gets the job done much faster, and you won't hurt the bore or anything. Good. I'm running it a few times. That's all it needs. All right, I'm gonna put this aside. I'm gonna use my nylon brush now, and I'm going to brush, well, all the other part. Paying attention also to those grooves right there. As you're racking the gun, you're gonna leave skin residues in there, or the skin deposit. And this is charged with salt, so obviously you're gonna cause corrosions over time if you don't take care of it. So just make sure you don't forget to clean those serrations that you have on it. Doesn't take much time, but do it in line with it. So not this way, definitely in line with it. And brush everything from. I'm gonna do the same here. So brush whatever I can access easily. And I'm gonna tilt the brush a little bit to the side to get the rails down. One side and the other side. And I'm gonna set this aside. And now I'm gonna go grab my frame. I'm gonna repeat the brushing effect onto the metal part that I have exposed right there. Right? Tilting it a little bit. So I'm making sure to grab everything. Hopefully staying in view of the camera. Right. So this is an unedited video that I'm doing, so you're gonna have to excuse this a little bit. The camera angle may be off sometime, right? But you get the idea. If you want to brush everything, just removing all the debris that you may have, carbon deposits and so on. All right, set it aside. So now we have separate the carbon deposit. Essentially the gun is clean, but the dirt and those carbon deposits will still float in onto the gun itself. So now we're gonna wipe it down and getting ready for oiling. And to do this, I'm gonna use a cotton rag, or something you can buy online as well. An old cotton t-shirt would do just the trick. Absolutely fine with that. Not synthetic, so don't use synthetic material on it. Just use cotton. If you have, again, an old t-shirt, that's perfectly fine, right? And the barrel is wiped on the outside. And now I'm gonna do the inside of it. To do so, I'm gonna put my little patch holder. And you can buy patches online. You can also use a piece of the t-shirt you're using, essentially. And the little patch holder has a little point to it, so just be careful with it when you run the patch through it, not to have your finger or the palm of your hand on the other side, because that would harpoon your hand, and it's not pleasant. Ask me how I know, right? And you can just push it just a little bit. And the rag is a little bit big, so I'm gonna have to cut it off a little bit. I may go off camera for that. Just a quick cut of it. All right, excellent. And we did this. Super. And get it a little bit thinner. And you just can run the patch through it, just like so. All right, removing the dirt from it. Beautiful. All right, let's take a look at this barrel now. Let's see if I can show you the reflection here on the light. Much nicer. Super nice. Excellent. So I'm going to set this aside. And I'm going to wipe down the other metal parts that we're having here. All right. I'm going to do as much as I can what the size of my finger allows me to do, if that makes sense. All right. So all the big parts here. All right. Making sure that you don't forget bridge face right there. So I can give it a little bit more of a brush, I believe. Sort of missed that. Right? A little bit of more of a brush to it. Yeah, nicer. Good. Excellent. And just a good wipe down on this. For the hard part to access, use that little brush, put the little rag over the nylon bristle brush, and I will virtually clean up and use this. So now I have access to all the parts, and it looks beautiful. You can use this for the other side as well, for the frame. Right. Little bristle right through that rag give me access to a lot of things. So very easy to get to clean it. can use the opposite side. We'll have a small single rows of bristle. Put it over, and you can have a little bit more access. Excellent. Beautiful. Excellent. So now all the parts are clean. Just need one thing. Well, apply oil onto it. So we want to apply oil where we're gonna have friction. So we're gonna have on the top of the chamber, barrel, the rails, both sides, right there inside of it, and rails on each side, and a little drop on the sear. Okay. So I'm gonna use the same product, CLP. This time I'm using it as an oil, and this allows me to, well, control a little bit how much I put on it. And with my hands, with the gloves, just wipe the product into it. Put a little bit of oil onto the rails. And it's the same CLP essentially, but this time I'm using it as an oil. So don't overdo it. Says the guy was gonna have a tendency to apply a little bit much, but you will see marks of friction over time on your gun. Essentially, it's gonna give you a clue on where to put the product. Right, oh, a little too much, yeah. Okay, and again, give it a little run with the gloves. Okay, beautiful. Now it's time to reassemble. Gun is clean and oiled, so I start with the barrel. I'm gonna push the barrel and sit it into the pistol and my recoil spring. So on this gun, it has a reputation to be sometimes a little bit difficult to sit. So I'm gonna try just straight in like this, so you can rotate and find where the spring sits best. And this will have a tendency up, and I got it. Yeah, so. The end cap spring have a tendency sometimes to be not 100% aligned here, so with the front of it. So the best way to do this is just don't try too hard. Just rotate a little bit that recoil spring assembly, and you'll find the sweet spot, and it's gonna sit right there. So nothing too complicated. I've seen a lot of people online complaining about the impossibility to replace that recoil spring in there. No, it's just finesse the gun into it, and you're gonna be just fine. All right. Next thing we're gonna want to make sure, and this is something that you want to pay attention, is that this little tab is in the down position. Sometimes it gets kicked up, excuse me, as you are cleaning the gun. So just make sure it's down. You're gonna align your rails just like so. And guide the entire thing all the way to the back, and we're gonna lock the action open. Perfect. Close that little tab. Close the action. All right. Now we can rack it. Everything works fine. Beautiful. So the gun is technically clean, but it's pretty much a mess right now. It's all oily and all. So I'm gonna take another rag, right? Cotton rag, and just wipe down the excess. Just a gentle wipe. Good. Now, another thing I would recommend before I let you guys go. Function check. So this is the opportunity. So making sure the gun is not loaded. So you're gonna point in a safe direction, you can pull the trigger on it. It went click. I'm gonna do this again. It went click. Okay, I'm gonna cock it back again. This time my gun is equipped with a sight safety. So I'm gonna engage that sight safety, and I'm going to pull the trigger and make sure it actually work, right? That's your safety is working, so that's perfectly fine. So yep, everything seems to be working just fine, and the gun is being reassembled and is ready to go. So I will attach in the description of that video links to all the products and the equipment I used in today's video. Feel free to click on it, so you'll be able to purchase those things, and they link to Amazon pretty much. So if you have an account with Amazon, you're gonna be just fine with this. And that's it. It's not too complicated. put a like, share this video if that has been of any help to you, and we hope to see you later for another video. If you have any experience with this gun or any comments, well, leave it below. I'd like to hear about it. My name is David, and I'm signing off. Thank you.